Good day, my lords and my ladies. Welcome to part 4 of Tales of the Undrunk Pirate. Yarr! Where did we leave off? The discovery of the reframe and the new journey to become alcohol-free. That was the game changer that I needed. Me being brutally honest with myself. Not accepting my own bullshit. Because I had done that for years trying to quit. I half-assed it. I wasn't really serious. Okay, maybe. Maybe I'll quit. Maybe I'll calm down a little on the drinking. I wasn't really serious. My coffee. It was when I could really be directly bold and honest with myself of what the fuck are you gonna do? How is this time gonna be any different? And then when that app just happened to fall into my lap, I took it and ran. Because what needed to change was, one, the reprogramming of my brain. Yeah, I had thought about, maybe there's AA. But I had heard different things, and I was like, I don't want to go to a meeting. There'll be something online. I did look at the church that I somewhat attend to online, Travis Park. Love them. They're unlike most of the churches I fell out of love with. They don't finger point. They truly say all are welcome. They had a meeting. I think it was Wednesday, 6 o'clock, downtown. Means I got to drive through rush hour downtown? No, thank you. That's my lazy ass. So I jumped in on this reframe app. Started doing my research, reading scientifically. Watched a lot of videos on scientifically what happens when that alcohol chemical gets into your system and what it does. And that's what I needed, because that took care of one little piece of the puzzle of seeing it for what it really is, seeing how that perfect drug alters chemicals in the brain, your central nervous system. I needed that so that I wouldn't go back to it, to see it for what it is. It's modified gasoline. It's just modified gasoline, ethanol. But then I needed so much more, though. So for my first week, excuse me, it's hot, and it's hot out here. Has a good mixture, ain't it? Anytime I had those thoughts to drink, let's go back. Let's remind ourselves. Well, I found some great videos on YouTube. Also, I'd start watching them daily, again and again, to remind myself why I don't do this. But during that time, realized that alcohol caused me to break up with one girl that I had really, really cared for and got connected with. And then so I thought, well, let me talk with her and such. And that first week was a little turbulent because I was just a bunch of emotions, not drinking, realizing the mistake I made. But we had gotten to the point in our relationship that we had said prior to this is in game for us. I didn't want to continue with anyone else, even though technically at the time still poly. I didn't care. The dating scene, oh, God bless. I had seen my side of it, but I also seen the girl's side of it through my ex-wife and the last girlfriend. If you're single, bless you, because that, you got to go through so much crap to find someone good. Oh, Lord. I didn't care to do that. I thought she's going to be great, and that's fine. If someone else comes along, so be it. But now I had all these emotions and talking with her, and a lot of it at the time I didn't know was just my expectations of, hey, I want to hear from you. Why haven't you called, text, whatever? But that was my expectations, and that was something still I was learning about myself. Why do I expect someone to be this way? Why do I need them to be this way? If love is truly love, well, don't you accept them for whatever? Now, part of that also was going back to my past of how I'd been hurt before. So again, learning what is this codependent thing? And then hearing people say, and I start thinking, I wonder if I'm codependent. Watch some movies, videos, start reading a book. Oh shit, I'm codependent. And now I have something else to work on. One of my meetings, I still go to meetings weekly, but excuse me, nowhere near like I used to. I was probably doing at least, dozen, 15 meetings a week. There was the meetings on Reframe. I discovered Recovery Dharma, which is a Buddhist thing. I don't fucking understand anything about Buddhism. And then one of my Wiccan recoveries. Wiccan, what the heck? And I started attending those. And I started understanding as people start talking and sharing their own stories that, and some of this is so keen to me because, while maybe not the whole story, there's a piece of it I could relate to. I thought, what the hell, let's just give it a try. Despite my deep faith in Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, and a very unique relationship that I've had with him for over 20 years. I'm not at all religious. I fell out of religion long ago. But I have a deep connection because a friend once told me, just talk to him. You have all these questions, just talk. He might answer you, might not. If you find yourself in question, just talk. So I did. Okay. Started checking out all these other things. People say, oh, mirror work has helped. Mirror work, what's that? That's where you talk to yourself in the mirror. Give yourself some affirmations, positive talk. I tried that. I couldn't really do it. I thought it was hokey. People say, oh, I've been doing meditation every day. Try that. Try to do a meditation or two. Man, this is hokey. It helps journaling, writing the stuff down. Try that. Tried it. I'm like, I don't like journaling. Ugh, on paper? I got a phone. I can just talk to it. It's hokey. But I didn't give up. I thought, let's try it again. People say it's working. Let's try it. Let's keep on. And after a handful of every little thing, I can attest, here I am, almost 10 months. I journal. I meditate. Sometimes guided, sometimes just come out here and with nature and process my thoughts. Think about things in depth. Practice this mindfulness. Mirror work. I do mirror work. Used to be hard to do that. Now I do it. I say, you're a handsome, chubby pirate. You are good enough. You've got this. I've got this. I can do hard things. Mirror work and meditation is something I do daily. I don't journal all the time. I don't do the guided meditations all the time. But it's part of my thing. I do my daily reads every morning. Stoicism and a devotional. And I wouldn't change that for the world because it's really helped. It wasn't so much about the cravings. It was more about, what do I do when this happens? When things get hard, when I get upset, when something, what can I do instead of grabbing that drink? Because did it ever really solve the problem? That was one of the things I journal. Why do I turn to alcohol? And does it really solve those problems? And for me, it didn't. It just pushed them away, pushed them to the side. And I realized for almost 40 years, I've been pushing shit to the side. It never got fixed, never got resolved. It was still there. Sometimes it stacks so high, it started falling over back on me. And then, oh, it's happening. Let me go drink again. Push it back up. So now that I had stopped drinking, now it was time for me to work on all this stuff. Work on the stuff that I pushed out, pushed away. Read a lot of books, a lot of great authors. a lot of different types of books. Learning about internal family systems, about how that inner child, and that was what my therapist taught me. She always said, we're just little people in big people bodies, but learning how that inner child is still in there and how these protectors come out for the exile to kind of, be the defense team. And then, okay, I can understand why sometimes I do this and do that, but why? And then talking with myself, letting little Stevie know, I got you, buddy. We're good. We're going to be good here on out. And that work part was hard. Putting down the alcohol wasn't. I tried many times. That's easy. I can easily get that started, but what's going to keep it away? That's the work. Why was I grabbing this stuff? Why did I feel that it helped when clearly evidence after I wrote everything down, it was not helping. It did not solve anything. So that's when I got cracking. Why do I feel this need to be codependent upon someone else? Because I didn't feel like I deserved love. Some stuff from childhood, some stuff as I grew up. But as I uncovered that self of who I really was and wanted, I realized, while I respect the poly community, that's not me. I don't want multiples. I just want one person to love me. Finally. Who doesn't wind up cheating on me or leave me or what have you. And so I said a nice goodbye to my community, wished them well. It's a wonderful, wonderful community, but that just wasn't me. And I was masking. So that was one of the big discoveries. And that if I really loved someone, I didn't need them to do all these extra things. If I appreciated them for who they are and loved them, then that's what I love. And there's a girl, Jessica. After a little bit over a week, came back and we had a very long discussion. And while I didn't require or ask or anything of her to do anything, just letting her know how I felt, she was gracious enough to admit that she too had a problem. And that she had been masking. And so she said, I'm going to stop too. And she's only 9 days behind me in this alcohol-free journey. We've had our problems with substances and stuff before, but nothing caused as much damage as the alcohol did, because that just leads to so many other things. Because if you're going to numb out with this, then let's numb out with that. And that's been part of this process. How can I not numb out? How can I face this stuff directly head on? And it's hard. But the weird thing, and this is where my story takes a turn here, weirdest thing happened on day 60. I didn't follow astrology before. Horoscopes and that stuff, didn't care. But then I asked him, I was like, you put all this universe into play. You spun all these planets out. That wasn't just accidental, was it? There was purpose and meaning for all that. Of course. Nothing's happenstance. Oh, let me try to figure some of this out. And I started noticing that. Planets, around certain times, certain things create certain things in people. The moon does this to Earth and the tides. What is the whole universe doing with us? Since we're all basically same energy that's been created with everything else. So at day 60, I fell asleep listening once again to a podcast. Really, at that point, I hadn't had cravings. I had that voice inside my head that the antagonizer. Why don't you put some Kahlua in your coffee? Hey, you're drinking this. Why don't you pour some whiskey in? Man, shut up. Fuck off. That's all I did. Tell it to go away. Didn't really fix the problem because, that's the brain going through those normal paths that it had known for me for decades. I hadn't yet trained it what now to do. I was telling it to go piss off, man. On day 60, I woke up after a nap. The weirdest thing ever. Never had this before in my life. A voice in my head said, why are you fucking around with this stuff? This is child's play. You got this. Why are you messing around with all this? Huh. And even the meetings, I still remember people, I jumped on, someone was sharing, and it kind of said, see, you're above this. Huh, okay. Higher self, my shadow warrior, my angel, I don't know. Them, who knows? Never happened before in my life. Craziest fucking thing. So from then on, I decided to test it. Okay, I got this. What happens if I do this? I started going back to the Renaissance festivals. Love those. Pirate at heart. And that's where I drank. Oh my God. As soon as I walked in the gates, I went straight for the mead. The ale. It was good. No cravings, but I noticed a lot of folks out there acting pretty silly. Loud, some obnoxious. I was like, oh my God, that was me. Why didn't anyone tell me? And then I started going to events and stuff that I would normally go to. Do it, I'll drink. I got this. Went to a wedding. Beer all around me. Friend said, oh my God, I'm sorry. You want me to get these beers out of here? I'm like, no, I got this. Picked it up, smelled it. Does nothing for me now. Used to be one of my favorites. And it's been that way ever since. I just wanted to test. Do I really have this? Let's test. Let's have these situations. But during that test period, I also started to retrain the brain. All right, brain, this is what we're going to do when things happen. Finding stuff like, peanut butter's delicious. I was wondering, why am I liking peanut butter so much? All of a sudden now. And it was someone, coach on Reframe, that taught me this. Absolutely amazing. Baffled me. Your brain knew this pathway when things got hard or whatever to go to alcohol. You're trying to tell it, let's do this instead. The brain's a funny thing in that it will light up old pathways. It never gets rid of them completely. It just says, hey, we used to do this, let's do this. I realized that when I was really young in elementary school, I loved the hell out of peanut butter. And I buy the big jar, 32 ounce. It takes me a year to eat that. I was finishing that in a month. What's going on with this? She said, your brain found an old pathway for comfort that would make you happy or that would relax you. And while this it knew of alcohol and you're telling it not to do here, stop, and let's do this instead, it said, wait, here's this old one down here. Brush that off. That was used to for comfort. That's why I wanted peanut butter so much. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I really understood the science of how the brain works at that point. That neuroplasticity, we can train it to do new things. But don't be shocked when it wants to go down those old paths. That's just what it does. That's its programming. You can't delete it completely. You can just say, let's do this now. But just like computer, I worked with computers since the 90s. They screw the hell up all the time. AI gonna take over the world? Nope, because it needs an overseer. And if someone ain't policing that, it's gonna screw the hell up. And AI screws up a lot. So it's gonna take over only if there's an overlord watching over it. Usually a team too. That stuff runs off rails. Well, that's the brain also. Decides to run off rails. I told you not to do that. Why are you going back on there? Oh, I just remember that. Well, don't do that. Keep going here. But wait, this old one here. Wow, we haven't used that one in forever. Why are you going back to it? That's just what it does. The brain produces thoughts. The brain goes through these scenarios. That was another thing that really changed me. I would have never listened to Buddhists or gurus. Never have. But as people started sharing and little things, nuggets that they would find soothing, I latched onto that. I'm like, man, there's good wisdom in there. I like that. Lord has some good wisdom. He's like, yeah, my children are smart. Okay. Let's look into that. But yeah, started researching Buddhist principles and some of the gurus, their wisdom. And wow. Talk about now having a 50,000 foot view of everything. Whereas before I'm in the muck. Now, reading these things and listening to them, such clarity when you look at things from a bigger perspective. And that's my life now. I love to meditate, love to come out here. Just be alone with my own thoughts. That was really hard with this neurodivergent brain. But that's what some of the Buddhist Stoic principles and some of the guru principles taught me, was that we don't have to chase and follow every thought. We can, like in a snow globe, we can shake it up and have all those thoughts running through our head, but we don't have to follow every single snowflake until it hits the bottom. We can jump out of that one and go to another snowflake and look at that one while it floats around for a little while, or just let it pass and go to the next one. And that's been really helpful, because yeah, sometimes I get caught on that snowflake until it gets to the bottom, and that's when, the panic starts and some of the anxiety. But realizing, you know what, that's the brain producing thoughts. Your heart pumps blood, your brain produces thoughts. Don't have to follow every single one of them. Not every single one of them needs my attention. So sometimes just let it go past. And if things get a little too crazy, try to jump off that and look at the next one. Then I'll ask the brain, hey, you got any thoughts of anything in there about pizza or beaches? Can we go into those? Can you produce something like that? Because I don't want to go into this other stuff. But my life is so much more richer now. I actually do love life. I love me. I look forward to a future with me and Jessica. We said at the very beginning we're going to be in game. I am now going to do what I vowed on my life never to do. And that is, I'm going to make her my wife. I am going to marry that girl. She knows it. We talked about the engagement. We talked about the wedding. Statistically, nothing's going to change. She still lives with me. Just on paper. Government approves it. State approves it. But yeah. It's funny how you can be with someone for 9 years and not feel it, but use alcohol to kind of numb it all. And then you can have one person that shows a little bit of patience, a little bit of caring, with heartfelt depth. And now you want to make changes for the better. You realize what you had been running away from. And instead of running away from life, I now run to life. I look forward to a lot of things. I don't use the excuse I've made peace with my maker, even though technically I have. But now I've got things to look forward to. Things on this big, beautiful planet he created that I'll probably spend the rest of my life trying to experience and be a part of. And now I've got someone to be a part of that with. Things about life I still need to learn. About our whole damn universe. About the whole solar system. But for me, I follow what a guru said. Don't look for a purpose. That could drive you insane. What if you fulfilled it? What's next? Just enjoy each moment as it comes. Be present in the moment. That's my newest adventure. Putting this thing on Do Not Disturb, this little phone. I'm only about a week in. That's been a trip too. Started again with a lot of these books. I read these books. Go through about a book a month at least. Sometimes more. But at least a book a month. Just on how can I work on me? Do I work on me every day? No. Sometimes I gotta take a break. It's a lot of work. You learn about internal family systems and yourself, and you need to give yourself a break, because this stuff is hard and it's taxing. But it's something I get to do now versus let's just drink it away. Let's piss off the day. And now I can be present. I can have someone call me at 7 p.m. and ask, can I get a ride? And I don't have to say, oh, can't do that, I've been drinking. Because I didn't like drinking and driving at all. And I was not reliable. Because, can't call Steve, he's been drinking. Now, hey, need me? I'm here. I can be there for friends. I can be there for family. I can be in that moment. Before, I don't care what it was that I did. Family event, get together, anything. My thoughts were always, when's the next beer? When can I get a beer? Do you have a beer? Let me go to the store, grab some 6-pack. Let me get a beer. Let me get an alcohol. Let me get some wine, whatever. Now I can just be there and enjoy the presence of our little get together, hanging out, whatever. And I don't have to think about when am I going to get that next thing in? Because why was I doing that anyway? Just to kind of numb out a little? Makes everything fun? No, it didn't. It didn't. It made me tolerate stuff easier. Because if you're funny, you'll always be funny. Alcohol didn't make people funny. It made you accept some of the stupid fucking jokes that you wouldn't laugh at before now. Oh, that's so funny. So, if you're looking to start this journey, I highly recommend it. Is it easy? No. To me, putting down the alcohol was easy. It was figuring out why. Why was I going to that in the first place? Why did I look toward alcohol as any kind of solution when clearly it wasn't? Why did I feel the need to escape or push things away? Why assumed things were too hard and I just needed to get away from it? Now I face it head on. Okay, it's going to happen. It's happening. Here it is. I don't need a drink for that. Yeah, there's been some hard shit happen in my life in these almost 10 months. But now I can face it head on. Take those deep breaths. Breathing exercises, those help too. I hated those at first too. But it's funny because all the hokey stuff that I thought was hokey at the beginning, I'm doing it all. That's something I learned too. You know, you put your journal in. You take your journal out. You do the mirror work in, and then you shake it all about. You do the hokey stuff, and you put the alcohol down. Hey, that's life. That's what it's really all about. Man, they fucking knew. So, that's been my share. I hope you appreciated the ramblings. I might keep this going throughout the year. Years even. Do little updates. But yeah, you can have a life that you possibly can't even dream about. Stuff I do now, I would have never dreamt I'm doing. But I love it. I love it. I love life. I love waking up in the morning. I love not waking up in a haze. I love being able to taste food so much better. And the coffee. Changed my taste buds too. Sleeping still really hasn't improved. They say it will, but for me it didn't. But life is so much richer now. The good and the bad. 'Cause that's what you gotta do. You gotta take the good. You gotta take the bad. Because if you take them both, there you have. That's the facts of life. The facts of life. So, again, thank y'all very much for listening to the ramblings of a undrunk pirate. Try to keep this story going as the years unfold. But again, 10 months, cannabis and alcohol free. And I'm loving life. And I hope for those of y'all that want to put down an addiction and embrace life fully, I wish you much success in that venture. You've got this. You can do it. Just give yourself some grace. Be patient with yourself and start showing a little bit more self-love to yourself today than what you did yesterday. Things will change for the better. Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but it'll be better because we can do hard things. Don't wait for life to get easy. Life won't get easy. It never gets easier. We just become better at handling hard. You can handle hard. And for me, I had to really decide, can I? And then make a move toward that. Because all the bullshit I said, I didn't think I could. But once I got directly real honest with myself with that tough love, I did. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You can do it too. Love you all. Much success. Feel free to leave some comments also. I'll see about maybe when I do these updates, maybe answering if you have any questions or anything like that. Y'all take care. Yar.